Okay. So, taking a look at the boom. We already mentioned that there are two different towable articulating booms available from Genie, a 50-foot and a 34-foot. The 50-foot has a 29-foot outreach, which is one of the largest outreaches in this class of towable boom. The 34-foot boom has a 18-foot, 4-inch outreach. Now these boom sections, primary and secondary, are steel boom sections. The extension boom as well as the jib are aluminum, as is the platform. These boom sections are independently operating, so you can move this jib boom section independent from this boom section, allowing you access to the complete range of motion. That allows you to stow the unit easily and also articulate into varying different portions of the functional range, which can be very useful, particularly if you want to boom down into a location, if you have to come in from above. So that's a very useful function. The other thing you'll notice is that we employ hard lines wherever possible. Those tend to be rugged as well as easy to service because they're independent sections. You'll notice on the other side we have a cable track that's side mounted with a steel cover on top to protect from debris getting in from the top side. In terms of the boom structure, from the other side also, you'll notice the transit locks. Two of them for when you're towing the unit in order to make sure that the boom's not bouncing around on you. Important, of course, that those locks be unlocked before you try and raise the boom. Any questions? Okay. Well, with that then, we're going to move on to the platform. Okay. Closing in, we're getting closer. Okay, so the platform. Aluminum-made internal handrails, effectively allowing the external to act as a pinch rail. Platform guard, swing gate, your standard trailer lights, tow board, spot for your license plate. Relatively simple, easy to take off and replace the platform. Of course, as a safety-conscious company, we can't overlook the manual stowage location. Inside here, you've got your operator's manual as well as your ANSI manual and several other manuals as well too, to ensure that you are familiar with the safe operation of this equipment. Of course, you also have two lashing points too for your standard 6-foot lanyard for safe operation of the boom. With that, we're going to move on to the control system. Now, I've already shown you the drive and set option, which is just that, an option. Not part of the standard equipment, but it is optional. This unit also has an additional optional feature, and that is this Honda GX 160 engine. It's coupled with a 24-volt DC 45-amp alternator, and what that allows you to do is to be charging the battery system remotely. This is particularly handy if you don't have easy access to a charge station or an AC plug. The GX engine can be started from a couple different locations. You've got your pull on it per standard, but you also have a startup. Let me just put this down. You also have a choke and startup on the control panel itself. as well as the choke and startup on the platform controller. So with that, we're going to take a look at the ground control box. So you'll notice full mushroom style sealed buttons throughout, motor, all functions, and then lights for the outriggers. Now again, the outriggers can be either automatically engaged or they can be individually engaged. The individual engagement is particularly relevant when you start dealing with rough or irregular terrain. So for example, you're trying to land an outrigger on an area that's significantly higher than the other three outriggers. That can be very difficult under the automatic mode where it's just trying to equally press throughout the four outriggers. So the control system control box is sealed, quick disconnects throughout, colored, coded wiring for easy service. We have Amphenol connectors and Deutsch connectors depending on which functions you're trying to engage there. Here's the AC power to plat cord as well. Just your standard bubble level sensor as well too. That's not actually a sensor, that's just a bubble level, but there are sensors inside. Moving back here, you'll notice we have another piece of additional optional equipment. This is the drive and set control module. So this is what you would use in order to control your drive and set. That's explicit for that particular function, that controller. Function enable is a pistol grip trigger, fully proportional in this case, so this is a proportional drive system. The turning is engaged through what I like to call positive traction turning. In other words, it's like a tank, so you're engaging one side at a greater velocity than the other in order to turn. And you're utilizing the jockey wheel essentially as the front end steer. Forward, backward, it'll turn on a dime. You also have your e-stop, and you can engage your outriggers from there. This is particularly useful to have the outriggers partially engaged when you're trying to find a location to put the machine. Particularly if you're doing yard work and you want to try and land those outriggers in a particular spot that isn't on top of your petunias or something like that. So you partly engage them, land it, and then put them down, all from here. This also can be removed. It's a little bit of... It is easier than I'm making it look, but... You can also remove this. You've got a pretty good sized leash so that if you want to walk next to the machine while you're trying to park it, you can do that as well too. Again, common style operator interface both on the ground control and platform control as well as the drive and set control. Push buttons, similar icons. The intent here is just to make the user experience as easy as possible. You know, one thing I neglected to tell you about when we were doing the chassis was the steel covers on the outrigger cylinders. The steel covers are there to protect the cylinders and do a pretty good job of protecting them from falling debris. That's something not to overlook. So, in taking a look at the operator control on the platform, again, similar style to the ground controller in terms of the push buttons, the operational features that you have access to. The one big difference with the platform controller is you've got an additional knob up here. So from the ground control, it's strictly on and off based off of relays. Up here what you have is a function speed adjust. So you've got the tortoise and the hare, and by simply twisting the knob, you can adjust the function speed. Again, that's particularly nice if you're trying to negotiate the platform into, you know, a difficult to reach area that's up against a house, for example. So, with that, I think we're done in terms of the walk around itself. Now we can do a little bit of